Well, here's my next level list of essential skills. These skills will help you be successful in real estate. The first one is get comfortable talking to people that you don't know. Now that sounds pretty obvious, except there's a lot of people in society today. Some of them get into the real estate business who really aren't very comfortable talking to people they don't know. To have some long-term success in real estate, my suggestion is get over it. You have to be able to converse with people. You'll be in open houses and see people you don't know all the time. People will ask you questions. They know you're in the real estate business. They'll ask you questions about real estate, questions about house prices, interest rates, things like that. So just do your best. I've got some ideas for you in my prospecting video on things you can do to help you get more comfortable talking to people you don't know. And it's basically practice that skill. Put yourself in situations where you're with people that you don't know, and don't shy away from that. Actually engage people. But that's a skill you'll need to learn and practice. Along with general people skills. Just general people skills, some things you might want to look up, things you might want to get some training and some direction on at some point in time. I do mention in one of my other videos that if people like you, they will work with you. And there's no question that's very true. In fact, people would rather work with somebody they like than an expert in the business who's not very likable. They'd rather work with a person they like. So new agents are always asking, well, why would somebody work with me? I just started in the business. Well, one reason people might work with you is if they like you. You can get answers for them, but people that are not likable aren't going to get likable very quickly normally. But if you're likable, they'll work with you on that part of it and say, get the real estate answers for me I need. So just knowing that if people like you, they'll work with you. But there are other people skills that you will be part of your sales training. If you want to look something up, you'll find very interesting, I believe. It's called matching and mirroring. And it actually does help people to like you more. And it's very simply works like this. If you take on some of the characteristics of the person you're talking to, they're more likely to develop a positive attitude towards your relationship. Well, Tom, how does that work? Well, just in a nutshell, when I used to do open houses, I would have people come in and ask me questions, but they talked lightning fast. Hey, Tom, what can you tell me about this? I got to have some answers because I got to leave soon. So if I try and talk to them very slowly and methodically, they're out the door. So I would take on a little bit of their tempo of talk. And I would say, well, I'd love to help you find the information you want. Let's go over here and sit down and talk. And you know what? I worked with a lot of people that way. It also worked in the opposite. If they came in and talked very, very, very slow. Can you help us find, oh boy, it physically hurts me to listen to people who talk that slow. However, I slowed down my tempo to talk more in a tempo that was more like theirs. And I did more business with them. I don't think that's being manipulative. I think it's being smart and using a sales skill. But if you want to look up a little on matching and mirroring, that's fine. That's something that might help you. My other essential skill is don't be a secret agent. Don't hide the fact that you're in real estate. On your social media pages, let people know that you got your real estate license. One of my other videos talks about everybody you meet has a real estate question. I think everybody you don't meet has a real estate question. People want to know about house prices, interest rates, things like that. They're just waiting for somebody who they know and that they like to ask that question to. So on your social media page, maybe you don't want to put out there, hey, I just got my real estate license, and if you don't work with me to buy or sell a house, then I'm going to unfriend you on whatever media site it might be. You don't need to go that far. But for heaven's sakes, celebrate your success. Hi, I'm going to put on my media page, I just got my real estate license. I'm excited to start my new career. I can't wait to see what adventures come my way. I love working with buyers and sellers, and I'm looking forward to getting more skilled. If you just do that, people will call you and say, I didn't know you got in the real estate business. That's great. You'll have a short discussion and many of them will say, what next? And by the way, I got a real estate question. Can you look this up for me? Or do you know this? They will all of a sudden ask you questions once they know you have a real estate license. So by all means, one of my better tips over the years is don't be a secret agent. Let people know what it is you do. My next essential skill is appointment setting. You need to get really good and very effective at setting appointments. Some people may think that's a little strange, but here's how most people set appointments today, unfortunately. You meet somebody in an open house, they express an interest in the open house or finding another house for them, and you might say, well, I'd love to get together with you and talk sometime in the next couple of days. And they say, great, that'd be wonderful. Why don't you give us your card? And then you call me or we'll call you and we'll set up something in the next few days. Great, thank you very much. When they leave the open house, what do you have after they've left? Nothing. The big hoop, you got zero. You probably will never talk to them again. So there's a different way to set appointments where you actually try and drill down to a time and a date to see if they're actually interested in an appointment. I'll give you a couple examples in a second here. But you should also know that appointments should be your goal when you hold an open house. You ask most agents in the marketplace, what's your goal when you have an open house? They'll tell you, I want to sell the house. That's my goal, is to sell that house. Well, the odds you're going to sell a property at an open house are very, very, very slim. But most real estate agents hold open houses to do what? To find buyers that they can then take to other homes. They're looking to make contact with people who are in the marketplace looking to buy a house. So rather than set your goal of an open house to whether or not you sell the house, you want to set a goal to see how many appointments you can make at that open house. I used to tell that to all my agents when I had my own brokerage. When you have an open house, I don't care how many people came through. What I care is how many people did you get appointments with, a firm appointment. And here's one way you can do that. Here's a great appointment setting technique that I've used for years, works in a lot of different businesses. If you don't like this one, find your own, but find a way to set appointments effectively. When somebody expressed the idea they'd like to get together and talk further, I would say, wonderful, would you like to get together Monday or Tuesday? And give them two options. Let me get the two on the screen here. Give them two options. Well, we can't do Monday or Tuesday. Sorry about that. No, that's okay. Would you like to do Wednesday or Thursday? Which day is better? You keep giving them two options until they pick one. Now, Thursday we probably could. Oh, good, good. Thursday would be wonderful. Now, I like Thursdays, but tell you what, would you like to get together early in the afternoon, like 1 o'clock, or maybe later in the day, like 5? Give them two time periods. Would you like Thursday at 1 or at 5? We can't do either one. We're so busy. But we could meet Thursday evening about 7. Wonderful. So now you've got what? Now you have an appointment, 7 o'clock on Thursday evening. And that's a whole lot better than you call me or I'll call you and we'll see you later. So give them two choices till they pick a day. Give them two times till they pick a time. And that should wind up in an appointment. Now, you might have to go into the next week. I never gave up. How about next week, Monday or Tuesday? Next, when can we meet? They'd understand that I was serious about wanting to meet with them. And once you have a day, you can drill down to a time with a couple different times. And they'll pick one. So it's a wonderful appointment setting technique. I hope that works for you. But remember to measure your success at open houses by how many appointments you can come away with. My other essential skill is sales training. You'll get that hopefully from your broker or outside of your broker. Ask them if they have other recommendations for sales training. You need to get, every agent needs to get, not just because you're new, every agent could use more training in sales, sales management and sales training. Overcoming objections is a big deal. Well, I like this, but I'm not sure about this or that. What are the techniques you should use or can use to overcome objections? Closing for the agreement, I've mentioned in a couple of videos. Closing for the agreement means getting them to sign an agency agreement, either a buyer agency or a seller agency agreement, a listing or a buyer broker agreement. Or maybe it's landlord tenants and investment property, whatever. But there are techniques to use and some training that is very helpful. Unfortunately, in today's day and age, most salespeople have very limited sales training, and it will help you. It will help you do more business. And my last essential skill is going to be for your health and well-being. Time management. Make sure that you work on your work-life balance. Do not get overwhelmed by real estate to the point where it begins to affect your personal life. One of the things I was very bad at when I started in real estate was my time management. And I'm sorry that I took a lot of time away from my wife and my kids and my family when I was off doing this last minute thing because somebody called and said, this is the only time I can see it is today at this time. And I wasn't confident enough to say, sorry, that doesn't work for me. Today's a family day, but I could do it in the next couple of days. So there are ways you can block out your times. Time management, time blocking, those are terms you run into when you look at time management. Make sure you set time aside for yourself and for the people around you. That's it for essential skills. One more slide to look at here. Here's a list of a few other of my Tom's Next Level exam prep videos, career prep and skills prep videos. Prospecting video is very helpful, and rules for success is something you probably want to take a look at. So please feel free to watch those videos. Thank you very much for watching this one. If you like this video, please, as always, click the icon down below. If you want to leave a comment, I always open to comments by all means. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscription button and I will be notifying you of any new videos when they come out. And if you know anybody else in the business who might have an interest in these videos, please feel free to share the video with them. Thank you very much, and I wish you great success in your new career.